how's it going, you guys? Welcome back to another video of Aina Motorbiker, and I'm finally doing a walkthrough of my 1983 vt750, which looks a lot like my 85 vt500, but from the outside it looks a lot like that 500, but there's a lot of stuff that I've done to this 750. So I'm just gonna take you around, give a walkthrough of it, and I think I'm gonna start from the front and then work myself to the back. So I'm just gonna start out with the whole wire harness. Actually, the wire harness, I took it completely out of the bike, and with these 80s bikes and 90s bike, there was a lot of what they call it, like dummy bikes, but also dummy lights and warning lights. But for example, the fuel gauge, the temperature gauge, if your tail light goes, if there's something wrong with your tail light, there will be a light that will go off. So I just eliminated some stuff to this bike, which is the fuel gauge, that tail light warning, a couple of other things that I really can't remember. But I took off that whole wiring harness, took out some wires that I didn't need for this bike, and then as well, this bike, the fuse block was mounted on the front end right here, and I decided to remove it from here and try to relocate it under the seat. And I as well also changed the speedometer and the tachometer. So these are aftermarket tach and speedo assembly, and I did a little steel bracket to mount these. So that's one thing. And then I have these turn signals that were used on my 500. So those are the same from my 500. The bike has new tires, of course, which I mounted myself when I was working at my old job. As well, it also has a new exhaust system. The old exhaust system, it was pretty big and heavy, and had a had a big chamber under here. And with this bike, I just wanted to shed as much weight as possible. So I removed the old exhaust system, and then put these supposedly Mac exhaust system, which I really don't know if they're legit exhaust Mac, a legit exhaust Mac system, because there's some peeling right here, and I don't know if it's a quality product like Mac, if this would happen to an exhaust like this. And there's some parts where it's like starting to chip. So I don't know if this is really a Mac exhaust system. So, but right now I'm just gonna roll with it. I really don't have a problem with it. I'm getting new front brakes. This bike is a dual front disc brakes, so I'm gonna be getting new disc brakes for that. I got a new thermostat sensor because my old one went bad, which goes over there, so that's new. I also, when I switch out my exhaust system, the bike was being really tappy, so I got into the engine. I removed the engine out of the frame, opened up because the tapping was coming out of the front cylinder. And since to check your tappets on this, it's a hydraulic system. So I purchased a dial indicator and inserted some I forget what you call them, shims, and according to my measurements, I installed the correct shims for this bike. So that's that. And after I rebuilt this bike, changed some stuff to the bike left me stranded, and it was due because my starter motor failed on me. And so I got a new starter motor, which I should be good for some good time. I still need to switch up some, like the clutch brake lines, because it's pretty old. I don't know if you can see, but there's some little chips and cuts, and then it looks like it's a stock brake line, so I want to change this up. Let me just emphasize on this, installing this new tachometer and speedometer. It was a real challenge for me because it was the first time I really got into any heavy electrical work, especially just relocating that fuse block. And I also welded a fuse box to fit all my electrical work, which is still not, it's still a work in progress. Like, I have this little liner that'll protect it from the rain, but I have this is my fuse block, and I feel like that's gonna be changing throughout the time that I have this bike. But yeah, right now I have some tape around here, and it's not the best looking thing, but it's still a work in progress. This is still the same bobber seat that I had on my 500, and it's not the most comfortable seat because it's really thin, as you can tell, and for a long distance ride it's not the most comfortable. I did purchase a stock seat along with a rear seat, and I'm trying to see if I can try to do some custom work and make a seat that's more comfortable to ride in. I did painted these side covers just to be all blacked out. Right now I have some medium saddlebags from Willie and Max that I purchased on eBay for a really good price. And these fit really good. I did purchase some large ones, and I think they're too large for my bike. Just because my rear turn signals, they're bullet style, and they're pretty long, and actually these get in the way. They don't sit too well because they're pretty. These tail lights or rear turn signals are pretty long, so they get kind of in the way. But I still have to figure out if I'm going to keep those turn signals on. I also did purchase some aftermarket rear shocks. I believe these are 10.5 inches. The original ones were 12 inches, I think. So this lowered the back end significantly, which I like the look of it. I like how it just made the bike lower. It's pretty. The suspension is pretty stiff. It feels like it's a if it's a hardtail, but I like the look of it. I mean, I can change it, make it more spongier, but it's alright for now. So this is the other side of those shocks. I did have to purchase a new fuel pump for the bike because the old one that came with this bike wasn't working. As well, this bike originally had a secondary fuel tank, which was located around this area, and I removed that because I just wanted to shed as much weight to this bike as possible. So I was able to do that, and then so I just purchased some new hoses that reconnected to the fuel pump, and then the fuel will pump back to the carburetors, and made that work. And I also had to rejetted the carbs to fit the new exhaust as well. You can't tell right here from this angle because the fuel tank is getting in the way, but I'm running unipods on this bike. So I removed the stock, this big block of air filter, and I don't know if you're too familiar with these kind of bikes, these 80s bikes, especially the newer Honda Shadows. Well, the older Honda Shadows, and they had this big box of air filters and all this other chambers and stuff, and so I got rid of that. I just ran uni filters for that. Moving on to the rear, I chopped up the rear fender. It used to go up to here, and I chopped that up. I have a aftermarket rear tail light. And then I have the same sissy bar that I had on my 1985 vt750, which I got this design out of Ria the Welder like more than a year ago, and then I welded it on myself on this sissy bar, which is pretty bad welds, but it's on there. And yeah, and then as well I purchased these rear brackets for the sissy bar. I originally had purchased some like Suzuki intruder brackets that were chrome and really crusty, and I was gonna try to make that work and paint them, but for all that work I found these. They were kind of pricey. They were actually a little bit longer, but I cut them through and then shaved them off, and they came out amazing. It's really good, so I like the look of that. So yeah, you guys, I really can't remember what else I did to this bike. Like, oh, I also did install some progressive fork springs, and it still feels, the front end still feels kind of odd. I'm not sure if it's those fork springs or if it's the triple tree. I need to take it apart and figure out what it is. But for the meantime, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not something too concerning. And as well, I'm also in the front end. I'm also forgetting that I changed up this the front master brake cylinder and the clutch cylinder. There used to be some. It seemed like it was the original 1983 cylinders because the viewfinder to know your level of brake fluid, it was so crusty and you couldn't even tell, and it looked like it was about to come apart, and you couldn't even tell. You couldn't even check your fuel level because it looked like it was about to break off. So that's sad. And also, like, there when it comes to this, there used to be a bracket that would connect this. I cut that off. I painted this stuff. It's starting to chip off, but I really don't care. There's my mirror. So I'm just gonna start it out for you guys, and so you guys can hear it. There's still some other stuff that I need to work on. But I just came back from like a 2-hour ride, so it's been really good. So I have to turn on the key, turn on my fuel. That's how old this bike is. She's still sounding tappy, but I just feel like this is how these bikes run. No matter how much you try to get those valves adjusted and perfectly, these bikes are still gonna be like this. And this front exhaust is vibrating a little because I still need to mount it and secure it, but it's not going anywhere. So yeah, there she is. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. I would like to get new disc brakes on both because it feels like she needs them. but not as much. But I would like to get some new ones just for aesthetic looks. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care.